Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I have a very special guest today, my old high school coach and current Hamshire-Fannett head coach, Mark Waggoner. Like I said, he coached me back at Riker. Fantastic human being, man, coach, whatever you want to say. He's just an awesome all-around guy. Um, Excellent coach. Top defensive coach. After Riker went to Robinson for a little bit, is now down at Hamshire-Fannett. From his first season, they were a 2-win team before him, and already took them to a 5-win team. Almost an 8-win team. There were some real close games, and they're against some really good opponents. His district has West Orange Stark and Silsbee in it. Neither of those are a slouch at all. So, Coach, it is great to see you again. It has been quite a long time since I've been able to see you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's great to talk to you, Brian. We really appreciate the opportunity to be on with you. Brian's one of my favorite all-time players, y'all, and now that he's behind the video screen, you still got to know that he would hit you in the mouth. That's what Brian would do. Very physical guy, always one of my favorites, and it's a pleasure to be with you, Brian.
Thank you, Coach. I really appreciate that. So going into next year, you're returning a couple of guys right here that I have on the all district list. You've got Offensive Player of the Year in Marcus Morris. The film that I've seen on him, just he looks like he can just run the ball all over the place. So what you've got him coming back. I believe you also have Tajay Edwards coming back, wide receiver for y'all. So it's not like depth, or you got some great playmakers that are coming back. What have you have to say about them and maybe some other guys coming up that are going to fill in the roles for some guys that left?
Yeah, Marcus is the one you mentioned first, and he played quarterback for us, and he's a really good quarterback. He actually has a lot of velocity on his arm too. But we got there so late, we weren't able to execute some of our passing game that we had hoped to. But so we had to rely on the run a little bit more than we had. They hadn't pass blocked in the past, and we were still behind the 8 ball on pass protections and getting the scheme. And plus, we didn't have a backup for Marcus, so we were having to make sure we had a power offensive formation and stuff that we could go to if Marcus were to go down or have to come out of the football game. But he is very dynamic. To be an offensive MVP in the same district with Liberty, West Orange Stark, and Silsbee, it just shows you how dynamic he is. He's hard. He's very rarely tackled one-on-one. His escapability is incredible. Now he's starting to read and able to throw the ball down the field with the schemes that we have in now. So we're expecting him to have a really good year. And if we were to put him on the defensive side that we can now because we have a backup, we could put him in nose guard and Marcus would make a play. That's how special of a player he is. And I know everybody has one of those guys, but I really do believe that he's a little special, more so than that. And I think you could ask around and they would agree. Tajay Edwards. Tajay is a wide receiver for us. He played a little bit of DB, but mostly wide receiver. And he's up to about 200 pounds now. When you have a wideout that's 200 pounds, that's a physical blocker, which he proved to be last year. His brother is Kendrick King, plays at Lamar as a starting running back. So bloodline is there. And Tajay is a 3.8, GPA. So he's very smart. He knows all the positions, good size, and has the ability to adjust to the ball in the air, which is unique at the high school level.
Absolutely.
So he's back, and that's really exciting. We also bring back a few more players. Kyle Sarge, who played with a high ankle sprain almost the entire year last year, is about a 215-pound, 6'1" linebacker, fullback type that we're really leaning on heavy. And then another inside linebacker that comes back that'll help us is Mason Stutes. Inside linebacker, about 210 pounds. Kid had a lot of experience last year. And these are just 4 of the kids that returned from last year that were very valuable. We also have some underclassmen. If we say Anakin Hall, who played safety and running back, and Evan Viator also playing a safety and also a running back. Lane Berry will anchor our line and come back and move to center this year. But we feel pretty good about our depth. We didn't have a lot of depth last year, but now that they have a knowledge of the system, we're able to create a little bit more depth. And and create the excitement of football around Hampshire.
Yeah, that's awesome. You named a lot of the guys that I was had pulled up here on the list with Anakin and Evan. Those are both guys that under sophomores and are making all district. So that's extremely valuable. Kind of reminds me, I don't know if Ross or Kenneth did it, but kind of reminds me of them a
Yeah.
little bit from when we were at Riker. And then, of course, believe you mentioned Jacob Garza. Also, he made all district. So you've got a lot of playmakers on the defensive side of the ball. Is it pretty similar to what we did when we were at Riker? Is it the same scheme?
It is. We weren't able to get it all in, Brian. We were able to be very vanilla and exist because of you had to introduce it slowly to the guys, And so we really were formation-based defense. In other words, we kind of still react to what you do as far as alignment goes, and we fit our personnel. So I've always put down when they ask what kind of defense are you, we're multiple. We're going to put our kids in the best position that they do and let them perform those techniques and stuff that they can do physically so that we can be successful. We're not really a 4-3 team or a split team or a 50 team. We just kind of adapt to our personnel and then what you're giving us. Probably similar if you watch a lot of college football, I would say probably similar to what Baylor kind of does on defense now. They look like they're more of a formation-based defense. And if you were trying to compare what we do, it'd be like that. And you mentioned Jacob Garza, and Jacob Garza is the D lineman that he's pretty good. We're looking forward to Jacob. He's a 500 squatter. He's hard to move out of there, and I think we'll be able to create less double teams on him because of the people we'll have on the D line this year to go with him that'll be able to get on the field.
That's great. It looks like your defense is ready to go, and with having more time with the guys, you can put in more of the offense. Get things going. I know our spring ball when we were doing it, we were able to get a lot more understanding of the plays, and of course 7-on-7, a lot more understanding doing that. It's a lot that it has to do with is a lot of repetition and getting those reps in and learning the plays, and after you do that, it becomes second nature. So I'm real excited for what you'll be able to bring next year, and hopefully be able to make it down to a game next year and get to see y'all put it in action in person.
That would be awesome. That would be really cool. We had a few people that were, a few friends, 30 years of coaching, and it's nice when you're almost every week we had somebody coming to see us, from the, wherever the past, whatever school, and it's been really nice to see that, especially because I had my oldest son he coaches for us. He's the offensive coordinator, Blake, and then my youngest son, Blaine, was a senior linebacker for us. And so to have some of those people come down and watch those guys was pretty cool.
Yeah, and Blaine made, I believe, first team all district at linebacker also. So
he did. He had an outstanding year. He was up for Defensive Player of the Year down here in Southeast Texas, and he's going to be playing football at Lamar next year. So he's going to stay close, and we'll actually get to see him a little bit. So it helped our program, and we're going to miss him severely on defense, but I think he left us in a good position, and I think Stutes and Sarge can take over where he left off.
That's great. That's always good to have a pair of guys to be able to come in and fill the role of somebody that has left and gone on. Now, for the people that are coming up that you'll have coming to be seniors this year, who are some of the big playmakers that we haven't really mentioned yet that you think can fill a big role, whether it's offensive line or anything like that?
We've mentioned quite a few of them when we included Garza and Lane Berry up front. And we have a call Gabe Constance and Grady Doucette on the offensive line had a lot of reps last year. Gabe started the entire year. Grady got half the reps, and they're back. So we feel really good about that. We have some younger guys that are in more of that 6'5", 6'6" range, 300 pounds that we've been trying to groom, and hopefully they can move into those tackle spots. Vance Moore, who's also going to be an upperclassman, is producing really well. He played JV last year, and now I think he's ready to come up. He's in the neighborhood of 500 squatting. So a lot of the line are up in that 500 range on their squats, and so we're feeling like we can hang in there and go throughout the season, especially in this district. We have on the outside, we also have another. He's not a senior, but he's a Jordan Laverne. He's another 6'5" kid that's a tight end that's really coming into his body, and we feel like so we're going to have some size and a little bit more experience to go with it. But we've kind of named most of the guys that come back from last year that will contribute to us heavily. We have Colton Savoy that also anchors the D line with us, and we're really looking forward to Blake Briggs. Blake Briggs is going to probably move to nose guard this year, and Blake will require almost a triple team. He is, and if that happens, we could be really good. With Marcus running the football and being able to throw the football, we bring back one of the most dynamic receivers too, and we haven't even talked about him. It's Garrett Piku. And if Garrett Piku's not out hunting a hog and we can keep him on the field, biggest true passion is hunting hogs. Down here when they hunt hogs, they don't use guns. They track them with dogs, and then they see if they can go bulldog them like cattle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a little different down here in Hamshire-Fannett. The food's great, and there's a lot of gators, and our kids are they're outdoors quite a bit.
Country boys.
They are country boys.
That's awesome. I'm real glad that that's probably the most size I think that you've ever had that I can recall of any of the classes at Riker. Of course, you had B. Hampton was a bigger guy. But other than that, I can't really remember too many guys that were there that had that much height and that much size on them. So
it's very rare. We had Lincoln Pleshik, who went to the University of Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
He played tight end up there. And then Jordan, he was 6'5", and I think Jordan Smith went to Kansas as a tackle, and he was about 6'5". But it's very rare to have these kids, all at the same time, and some of them are underclassmen.
Yeah.
We're going to have them for a couple of years, and it's really nice to have a little bit of size. It really is.
That's great. Now, I mentioned at the start that it was a 5-win team, just on the outside of being an 8-win team. For us, I know at the start of the season, before it even started, we already had West circled on the schedule, and then because of our junior year and losing to them twice, we had Trinity Christian Cedar Hill circled on the schedule as well. Right. For you, who are a couple of the teams that you already have circled on the schedule going forward?
Well, the community has East Chambers. That's the big Rice Bowl down here. And I think you have to buy a ticket 10 years ahead of time to get into the Rice Bowl. And I found out about that real quick. I don't like it that we have to play it in preseason, and it's like the Super Bowl to the people that live in these two areas, because they're all friends, but the two schools butt up to each other. And so I think it's circled by the community more so than anybody else. Where for us, it's going to be our district games, our district opponents. There's not a weak sister in the bunch. From Hardin Jefferson to Liberty, and Liberty is going to be the most massive team we play this year. You can't see past their offensive line. They're all at 6'5". They're all just a massive humanity coming at you with 300 pounds and big boys. And I think they went 3 rounds deep this year. And, we went I guess we were 4 points down on those guys. I can't even remember. It was down to the last second. Silsby, who was your state semifinalist, was 27-26 for us. They bring everybody back. That's a big one circled on the calendar. And if you don't circle West Orange Stark, who also played Silsby in the regional final and had been state champions, 3 out of the past 4 years before that, I think. Oh my God, it's a gauntlet. It is. So if you can remain healthy and get into those games, it's just crazy that you can't look past one of those district opponents.
No, not at all. And 2 of those 3 guys that you mentioned, Silsby and Liberty, lost to Liberty by 3, and like you said, it was a real close game all the way till the end. And then Silsby lost by 1 in that game. I believe I remember refreshing my phone over and over again on that one to try and get the score updates on Max Preps to see how that was turning out. So first of all, shout out to whoever does your Max Preps updates on your scores. Thank you for him, because that keeps me very entertained on close games on that. And then outside of that, I mean, there is some real close games, and
they're very exciting.
Yeah, knowing what your offense can become and what your defense can become once you get things in, I'm real excited to see what can happen in the future with this program, with you as the head coach. And then, of course, with the guys that you have coming up. You've got some great guys, it sounds like, that are coming up. and it's just real exciting to see and hear about. And I can't wait to get down there for a game and see you again, Coach.
And when you come down, we'll get you some boudin balls, okay?
Oh, that sounds awesome. You know I like to
Exactly.
eat, so
It is, hey, the best eating anywhere. Anywhere. I'm going to be as big as a pig. I'm telling you. The food is incredible. People are great, and they love their football down here. It's really awesome, Brian. We'd love to have you down here.
That's great, Coach. I'm definitely gonna make a trip. Hey, thanks
Oh,
for joining me tonight. I'm real glad. I'm extremely happy and excited that you got to be the first coach that's on this. I do want to push this forward and get some more guys that are going to be on here. Some local guys, and Lorena, Conley, they've both done extremely well up here.
yes,
Um,
Brian. Hey, and one of our former guys is now at McGregor. We used to work together, Mike Shields.
oh, yeah,
So
that's true. Yeah, Mike Shields is back.
make
He
sure
was
you
at
get Mike.
Terrell,
Yeah, we
so
worked together for a long time. Make sure you call Mike
yeah, I'll
for dang
definitely
sure.
get him on there. Coach, thanks again so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. I honestly, I can't thank you enough for joining me. You know how much you mean to all the Riker guys, any guy that you've probably coached. You're probably way up there on the respect list for a ton of people, and it means the world to me that you were the first coach on this show.
I'm flattered, Brian. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Coach.